This is not a movie to watch with high production value in mind, but it doesn't get any more ambitious than this. Welcome to my channel, KC. That's me, Carrie Chug, the Sledge Storyteller, here to talk about the wonderful world of storytelling. It is an art form, its many mediums, and its history. If you like this video, please click like. If you like this channel, please click subscribe, and while you're at it, make one more click on the notification button. Thank you. Now, again, I've been wanting to answer the call to cover public domain kaiju. This movie, it was made in 1975 and released in 1976. And while it's true that a lot of production companies let 1978 slip away without doing the necessary renewal to keep that copyright, and in the case of some movies, but the fact that it's not listed under any public domain page I've looked at tells me that this movie I'm covering, that production company, very small or production group, did their due diligence to keep the copyright. What makes it worthwhile is its unique status as a homegrown movie coming out of a small town. This movie was helmed by a group of high school students, directed by one of their teachers, Robert Burill, and it tells you, okay, that again, it's ambitious. So I think it's worth a look. But we start with a condensed history of Milpitas, California, narrated by one of Hollywood's most beloved voices, Paul Frees, probably best known for the characters he voiced in Rankin Bass Christmas specials. In the YouTube release by the channel Creature Features, Robert Burill himself said that one member of his crew had worked for a radio station and is common with several in such positions, had connections with celebrities that included Paul Frees. The link to that Creature Feature video is in the description below. Anyway, the movie itself, from the very beginning, we learn that pollution from garbage is an important subject matter to the plot, as it gets heavily emphasized in the narrative. The story ensues as citizens of Milpitas are shocked to suddenly see that their garbage cans are missing, with residual garbage lining their driveways and lawns, along with a giant footprint. And we get our first glimpse of this movie's monster as he grabs the dumpster from the garbage truck, because as it turns out, this monster feeds off garbage. Then we meet the mayor of Milpitas, his wife, his daughter Priscilla, and her boyfriend Jeff. Then we find out that there's a gang of rowdies, as I'll just call them in this video. They harass Jeff as he waits to pick up Priscilla for school, and yes, they'll pop up a lot throughout the movie. Now, one cliche this movie plays to the hilt is that of the town drunk, George Keister, who frequently sees the monster more than anybody else, and everyone needs to listen to him about the big threat against the community, but they won't. Anyway, all the garbage can thievery leads to the people's automatic assumption that it's the city's fault, and they call out for an immediate solution. Then we get another scene with the rowdies bringing a homemade cannon to the high school playing field for no other reason than to demonstrate it. And it is here that we also learn that there will be a town carnival. Here we get to see the biggest performances by Jeff and Priscilla.
I am not having a good time. I don't think it's so funny.
Well, you don't have to be so snotty about it.
Now, here's the one thing that baffles me. This was started by a group of high school students, and why didn't they take advantage of readily available members from that school's drama club? But we see a bitter parting of the two. Amid the good times, we see the monster arrive in what I will say looks like an impressive use of forced perspective as it approaches. Yet we suddenly move forward to the next day as we see Carnival left completely vacant, leaving me scratching my head as to what exactly was supposed to have happened. Move on to the local bar. The monster arrives in an impressive stop-motion sequence, while the town drunk refuses to leave the local bar and insists on another drink. Once satiated, he walks out and is somehow the first witness to the monster sorting out the power pole. He runs back to the bar to report what he just saw. Does the bartender believe him? Make a guess. But the outside ruckus is enough for him to look out and decide to call the police. The monster manages to wreak some havoc, and we move on to the next day. So there's alarm at the mayor's office, and he and the town council realize that they need to consult with the foremost expert on this problem, Dr. Lingsford, played by San Francisco TV celebrity Bob Wilkins from the monster movie show, also called Creature Features. But his advice is that they must use the odorola, or monster detector. Anyway, the high school dance is underway, and somehow George Keister ends up there, only to get grabbed by the rowdies who harass him over a bottle of booze. Priscilla is also there as a volunteer, I guess serving punch. George eventually falls on the school sidewalk just in time for the monster to show up, and it's detected by the fire department's odorola, and they follow the signal. Jeff is home hurting over his bitter squabble with Priscilla before deciding to drive to the dance and hopefully kiss and make up. The monster starts wreaking havoc on the exterior wall of the school gym. Naturally, it spurs panic, and poor Priscilla becomes this monster's Fey Ray. And I watch this and see the monster spin about, and I'm thinking this thing has wings. What's keeping it from flying away right now? Well, after a mini cannon shot, it takes another pause before finally doing that very thing. And since Milpitas has no skyscrapers, and again in spite of the monster having wings, it climbs an electric antenna tower after inexplicably letting Priscilla go. You have Jeff and a friend disguising themselves as garbage can ghosts in hopes to distract the monster, while the firefighters have their own strategies and put George Keister in a garbage can that a helicopter lifts in the air as a better distraction. And it's wise to distract him because the fire department and rowdies managed to put explosive charges on the antenna tower, set them off, and once again, in spite of the monster's wings, it tumbles down to the earth to its death. Of course, George Keister goes down with him, and it's presumed by the people of Milpitas that he died, and they honor him for his sacrifice. And yet, not to mention that it looks like he planted the seeds for a new Milpitas monster to arise. So if you refuse to take your critic's hat off, you can enjoy this movie. It's flawed in its acting, its pacing, and its sound editing. I'll give it credit for its creature design and the understandably short stop-motion animation sequences. They are extremely impressive. Now this, I don't like calling it so bad it's good, but rather something to watch and admire for its being a grassroots production helmed by a group of high school students on a budget of, would you believe, $11,000. And I will go so far to say that there's charm in its ambitiousness as well as its amateurish nature. But yes, fully recommend watching this for pure fun that way. But that's my take on the Milpitas monster. Thank you for watching. Agree, disagree, or something I left out? Please let me know in the comment section. I'll keep saying it. Let's all look for civility amid all the bad news out there, social and political strife. Let's not hate. Let's find friends wherever we may go. Everyone be safe, and God bless.